News. So guys, good morning. And again, it is Thursday, November 4th, and we have got a great morning Zoom for you, chock full of information that when used, can make you a very wealthy individual, and more importantly, can protect many, many, many more families than you would be able to do all by yourself. And at the end of the day, if your mind's on service and you want to max out the number of families that you can protect, this is something that you're going to want to take some good notes on and participate in. So I'd sent out an email asking each of you guys if you're able to have 2 devices open today. That's so you can be on Zoom on one, and so on the other one you can log on to the interweb and be on www.protectonefamily.com. So if you do have 2 devices, take the other device and get on our P1F website at this moment if you could. While you're doing that, and if you can't do that, if you don't have 2 devices that can get on the internet at the same time, pen and paper will do. You'll just need to use the device you're on to transfer this information that you write down onto the website when we get done. Okay, so you're definitely going to want to have a pen and paper to jot down some really detailed notes and capture the information that we talk about today. Guys, before we jump into the what of our deal and I introduce our special guest speaker, today I do want to talk to you about the why, guys, because people don't care about what until they know why, right? Everyone listens to the same radio station, and what's that?
What's in it for me?
Yep, WIFM. What's in it for me? That is the proverbial radio station that everyone listens to. Unless there's something for you to gain by doing something, most oftentimes we won't do it. Okay, so I want to share, guys, what's in it for you for doing what we're talking about today, guys. And what we're going to talk about today, like we do most Thursdays, is recruiting. Okay, so guys, if you'll look at your screen right now, what you'll see. Can everybody see my screen? By the way, it should say Globe Life Career Income Examples. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, some of you guys probably have seen this. Some of you guys, if you're newer, maybe you didn't. Actually, probably everybody saw it in the interview process because if I interviewed you, because I share it with everybody, and it's part of our career spotlight video as well. It comes up on the page for about 5 or 6 seconds where people can see the income examples. So guys, what this shows is what your income would be if you sell 5 personal sales per week or transactions. Of course, that might be 7, maybe 8 or 9 policies, but 5 transactions per week. Okay. It also shows selling 7 transactions per week, and it shows selling 10 transactions per week. 5 per week would be what an average new person does in our business. Okay. So if you're hearing this and you're going, man, I'm not doing 5 transactions per week, then you need to be pushing and developing your skills to get to at least 5 transactions per week on a very consistent basis. Okay, that's average. And if you're hired, that means that you are above average. Okay, 7 per week would be a little bit above average, about 40% better. And 10 would be like a top producer. Okay, not top, but well above average. Okay, 10 transactions per week. It shows now if you do it in year 1, yeah, 70 grand at 5 per week. 7 per week, you're going to make about 100, just a shade under 100,000, well over 100 once you figure in bonuses, things like that. And the probability that if you're selling 7 per week, you're going to have a team of 5, 6, 7 people by the end of your first year, without a doubt. And also at 10 per week, okay, which would be twice of average, which is make about 142,000 of first year income. Guys, when you pop out 5 years from then, you're going to have a much higher first year contract, right? Instead of starting at 30% in year 5, you're already going to be at least 50, probably 54 or 58% by that time. Okay. So naturally your first year income is going to be dramatically higher. So if you're selling 5 policies per week still in your 5th year, you're making over $100,000 of just first year income. Okay. Anybody know what that $16,448 represents in year 5? Residuals. That's the money that you're paid in your 5th year from the sales that you personally made in years 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the policies that are still on the books. Guys, that's I'm not the best at math, but that's about $1,400 a month. Not too shabby, right? Think about how many of your bills might take a U-turn in the mailbox if you had $1,400 on the 15th of every month just sitting there. Okay, for a lot of us, that's the mortgage payment, right? Some of us, that's the mortgage and the car payment. But it's a bunch. So $118,000 total compensation at 7 per week. You go out 5 years, it's significantly more. Okay. It's almost $50,000 more. It's $142,000 of new income, $23,000 of renewals coming in, almost $2,000 a month. Okay. And of course, at 10 per month, you're looking at 183,000 new and 30 grand. Okay. $30,000 of new commissions coming in. Guys, that's dramatic. $214,000 total comp. And you can see what, obviously, if you're like most salespeople, you've already looked ahead and you're looking at year 10 and year 15 and year 20. And you can see that, guys, if you stick and stay, you make it pay, right? Even if you never got any better. And by the way, if you guys could, everyone mute. We just got someone that popped on and gave us an echo. There you go. Thank you. So in year 20, you can see even at 5 per week, if you never got any better, which is far-fetched, you're making 300 in year 20. Okay. With over a third of that being residual income, $122,000. Guys, that's $10,000 a month of residual income. Okay. That's the equivalent of having $3 million sitting in an annuity and skimming off 4% per year. Okay. That's pretty powerful. And the 4% rule, guys, if you're not familiar with that, that's the amount that you can take out of an investment per year and count on it replenishing itself through interest. Okay. We can talk more about the 4% rule later. Guys, we all agree that those numbers are pretty good. If these played out, we'd all be happy, right? We'd all be content, probably. Yeah, right? Because most of us that are on this call are in our first or second year, right? We're early in the business. So we're looking at that going, man, that's going to be awesome. Well, news for you guys. If you're in your 30s, when you get to year 20, you're going to be in your 50s. So it's going to be, it's different. Okay. Lifestyles change, things change, inflation happens. 300 grand ain't going to be in 20 years what it's worth right now. Okay. But it's still 300 grand. It's still growing. But guys, good is, as Jim Collins wrote in his great book, Good to Great. Good is not the next step to great. Good, guys, is the enemy of great, because when people get good, they oftentimes settle. Well, I'm good. And they never continue to push and never become great or never accomplish greatness. Guys, I want to talk to you about going past good and getting to great. Because guys, let me share this with you. If you do something very simple, let me ask you guys, do you think if you really put your mind to it, that you could recruit in your first year one human being, and then after that, add a person every 6 months or 2 people per year after that? Do you think if you really focused on it, you could figure out how to recruit one person every 6 months?
Definitely.
Absolutely, guys. It ain't rocket science. Okay. Guys, building an agency is not about recruiting 20 people next month. Okay. It's not about doing something once and then stopping. It's about what we do every day. Success is found in the mundane. It's in our daily routine. It's what we do over and over and over again. It's not a one-time event. And guys, recruiting is not a one-time event either. It's something that we've got to do and have our radar on 5 or 6 days a week, if not 7, just always looking for PLU, right? People like us that we can just expose our business to. Guys, if you have one person in your first year and then you increase by 2 people per year. Now, obviously, guys, if you increase by 2 net people, you probably needed to recruit 4 or 5 or 6, right? Because not every single person that joins our team stays on for life, right? As Howard Lewis used to say, people come here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But everybody leaves our business eventually, right? Some people just leave it after a 30-year career like he did. Some people leave it after a goal period. And everybody falls somewhere in between those two, right? Somewhere in the background, Casey's laughing right now. She's like, yeah, I had a person that lasted a goal period. But guys, building an agency, it's not easy. It's very simple, okay? If you have one person your first year, and this assumes that person, your team members, average 5 transactions per week, that they do average, okay? So if your team members average less than 5 a week, you might need to have an extra person or 2 on the roster, right? If they average more than 5 per week, you might be able to have one or 2 less, okay? but one in your first year, you're going to make about $9,000 of overrides. Okay. It's not time to retire yet. Okay. But when you add 9,000 to whatever you made, 70, 80, 90 grand, that's a pretty significant increase, right? It's more than 10% adding to your bottom line. Guys, look at the power of this though. Year 5, when you were in when you're selling 5 transactions per week, yeah, that's exciting to go from 70 grand to 118. Okay, that's pretty neat. It's exciting to go from 99, almost $100,000 up to $165,000. That's a 65% increase, right? It's exciting to see 141,000 move to 214,000. But guys, if you had 2 people in your second year, 2 net people in your third, 2 net in your fourth, and then 2 net in your fifth, you've got a 9-person team, including yourself. That's 10 people. Okay. That's manageable, guys, because by that time you've got 2 or 3 of those people that have stepped up and they're leading and they're out there field training those people. Okay. And you've taught them how to do weekly business reviews and you've taught them how to be leaders too. Okay. That's all what we're all about. That's why we're developing leaders and having leadership calls and doing all this each day. Well, guys, in year 5, if you've got a 9-person team that's averaging 5 transactions per week, your overrides from that 9-person team are $220,000. Okay. That is about $40,000 more than if you're selling 10 transactions yourself every week for 5 years. Think about that for a minute, guys. That's pretty powerful. You've also, guys, got $36,000 a year or over $3,000 a month of residual income. You're earning a smaller percentage. Overrides are a smaller percentage than when we make sales, but it's on a much larger piece of business, bigger piece of pie. Okay. So your total take home is $256,000. And guys, that's in addition to whatever you're personally selling. Because you've got a 9-person team, you're probably still one of the better field trainers, right? By the time you get to 15 or 20, you may need to do some other things in the business to serve it best. But at 9, you're probably still training some people. So you're still selling probably 7 or 8 or 10 transactions per week, but you're probably keeping about 5, right? You're helping some folks out along the way. And if you're doing that, guys, that's 256 in overrides, over $100,000 of personal income. You're making over 350. That's a tax bracket that most folks never get to, ever. Okay. In all fairness, most people never get to 100. So guys, does everybody understand the why right now? And guys, the why, I don't want you just to hear the numbers and go, well, I don't need $350,000. That's just so much money. I don't want to be greedy. Well, guys, what's protecting more families? You and 9 people, 10 people out there protecting 5 families per week, 50 per week, 2,500 per year, or you out there selling 5 by yourself, 250 per year, right? You're protecting 10 times as many families with an organization. That's a lot of good, guys. And you're also positively impacting 9 other lives who are with you that now have a thriving business and have their lives back because of you. Because you had the cojones to approach them, okay, and tell them about what we do. So guys, I hope you understand why it's really valuable to recruit right now. But I want to bring on our special guest speaker, none other than the incredible, the amazing. He's training for a half marathon right now, guys, and he was out. He didn't get his run in the morning Tuesday when I met with him, or excuse me, Tuesday when I met with him. So he went out Tuesday night at 9:30 at night and ran 5 miles to make sure that he got it. He's dedicated. He's a hard worker. He's awesome. He is none other than Mr. Josiah Carr. Let's give him a loud applause. So Josiah, you went through this exercise. We did this a year, maybe a year and a half ago, where we helped you determine what you were going to say to people when you met studs, right? When you met PLU that you wanted to recruit. And guys, we refer to that as your recruiting story. Okay. And we're going to go take a couple minutes here in just a second when after Josiah's done, and create that and show you guys how that works. But Josiah, can you please kind of walk us through 2 weeks ago when you identified Malcolm, what you saw in him, and then what you said and where what you said stemmed from? What gave you the confidence to approach him and say what you did?
Yeah, cool. So, guys, I was just out on a run. It was probably 6:30 at night or so, and I was actually doing intervals, so I was going down and back on the same road many times, and I saw this one dude kind of was at one house talking with somebody, and then on my next way back, I saw him a house later, and after 2 times passing him, I was like, this dude is door knocking right now, and so I just kind of the next time I passed him, I stopped running. I came up to him. I was like, "Hey, dude, are you door knocking?" And he was like, "Yes, sir." And I was just kind of like, "Dude, that's awesome." I first just gave him a compliment. I was like, "Man, that takes a certain type of person, and not many people out there, nowadays are going to sign up for that to do it." So I just first just gave him a compliment because it's always good to receive a compliment from a stranger, especially. So I gave him a compliment, and I was just asking him about what he did, and he was selling solar panels and solar, however that works, and just kind of was asking him about the company, about the job. Does he like it? Is it something that he can see himself doing? And he was kind of just shared with me. He's like, "Yeah, I mean, I like the job itself. I like meeting people. I like creating these relationships." He's like, "But solar itself, it's okay. I mean, it's just solar." And I was like, "Cool." So then I kind of just slowly introduced, family heritage into it, and just kind of hearing, his backstory, and actually got pretty deep. But I kind of was just, I remember like Van was talking about creating our recruiting story a year or so ago, year and a half, or whenever it was. And I was just kind of in my mind taking pieces of that recruiting story and just kind of inserting it into the conversation. Like, I pulled my recruiting story up right here, and, I was just kind of sharing him, first off, just who I was. Hey, dude, I'm only, 25 now, but when I first got into the business, I was 22. And, I was just graduated college, worked for 10 months working for the man. And, I was like, that's not for me. I'm not working for somebody else like that. So just kind of taking that first section from the recruiting story. And then he was kind of like, "Oh yeah, I love the flexibility." He was giving compliments about being a 1099. So it was definitely something that he wanted to continue to do. So then I was just kind of sharing him with like, yeah, with my previous role, wasn't the most challenging thing in the world, but, I had a great, salary coming out of school, and room for improvement on the salary and everything like that. But just showed up every day and left every day at 4 o'clock, and that was kind of how it was. And I kind of was sharing with him, was like, yeah, I never expected to get into insurance, let alone supplemental insurance. But, as I was looking for something new to get into, there's a couple of things that really attracted me to the business. And, the first was the people, the people that I met through the process. When I first spoke with Steph at the time, and then I was introduced to Todd Stiles, and I was like, dude, these people are what we now call, or I now call PLU. These are people like me, people like us. And I was like, I kind of met them, and I was like, dude, I could plug myself into this, and they're where I want to be. Right. So if I surround myself around people who I want to be like, I'm going to be like them. So I was kind of sharing with Malcolm. I was just like, definitely never thought I'd be in the insurance game, but man, it had so many factors that it just kind of made sense for me to do it. Just seeing the product, seeing how much of a difference we can make in families' lives. The people that we work with are one of a kind. All of you guys are rock stars. And just kind of the culture that we have here in Wilmington and Raleigh, Charlotte with Kyle's group, it's unmatched. I've personally never had a ton of jobs out there. I've had one before this one for about 10 months after college, but definitely not the same environment, and I was kind of just sharing with him, I was like, the biggest thing with me, and he kind of echoed this, was being able to control your schedule, planning your work around your life and not your life around your work. And that was one of the big things that he liked. So I knew that was a big driver for him. So then I kind of was I explained that as well. Hey, have the same freedom and flexibility you have there. So you're not going to lose anything with that. But man, what we sell makes a serious difference. You know, obviously it helps people if they can save some money on their power bill every month. But, you know, you'll never forget that first hug that you get from a client, you know, that you paid, you know, 5, 10, 15, 40, 55,000 bucks to. You really helped them through that month, 6 months, whatever they're going through. So that's kind of how I shared with him, just kind of pulling over on my run, introducing myself to him, asking what he liked, and then just kind of hitting him with some of the key points from that recruiting story of mine that I created, you know, a year ago, was just super conversational. I mean, the recruiting story itself, you just read it to somebody and it's kind of a conversation. So it was pretty easy. All the tools were kind of right there in my brain from the things that we've done in the past. And I just kind of had to explain it to them and have that conversation.
Josiah, thank you so much for sharing that. And it's really cool to hear stories of people using the things that the tools that we have and getting and having success stories from it. I'm totally fired up to work with Malcolm. He is a sharp young man. But guys, here's the reality is you guys are confident about selling our product. Probably the most what product, let me ask you guys this. What product are you the most confident about selling that you have in our arsenal?
Cancer.
Yeah, why?
It pays more and those policies last longer.
Yep. What's another reason why you're more confident presenting that product?
We have the most testimonials.
Most testimonials? Guys, if you looked at the ratio, you had a big pie chart of all your demos. Which product have you presented the most? Cancer, right? Guys, it's repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning. You've done that demo so much, you've got a truckload of confidence. Some of us have got our life license recently, but we've never done a life demo and we don't have a lot of confidence. So we haven't done one, right? We really haven't taken the time to go through and memorize our presentation for that, which there is a presentation out there for it, by the way. So guys, when you know what you're going to say and you've rehearsed it and you've practiced it, you have confidence in it. And when you have confidence in it, you know what you do? You use it, you say it.
Mhm.
When you don't know what you're going to say, you're timid, you're nervous, you're scared, and you'll meet people all day long that are PLU that would be awesome, but we never talk to them. And they just walk in and walk right by us, right? We never say a thing. Oh gosh, they probably make a ton of money. Oh gosh, man, that person's really tall. I don't know if they do that. I mean, just we make up all kinds of rationalizations for not doing it. So guys, what we're going to do today is take those rationalizations away and replace it with confidence. And guys, we're going to do that by showing you, helping you develop exactly what you're going to say. Okay. So guys, here's what I'm going to do. I want to show you how to navigate the Protect One Family website, which guys, you start off by going to your browser and typing in Protect One, the number one, not O-N-E, protectonefamily.com. When you do, here's the page, right? And when you get on there, the first thing you got to do is log in. If you don't know your login, I believe it's your work email, and then it's help me out, guys, because I don't type mine in anymore, but I believe it's it's your agent number, FHL, and your agent number. Does that sound right? Again, when I click login, it just logs me in.
It's been so long, man. Mine's saved. I couldn't even tell you my own.
So again, guys, if you don't know what it is, just shoot a quick email to Nicole and she'll respond with it real quickly. But you should be able to log into this. It's an incredible resource with a lot more than what I'm showing you right now today. But it's a game changer. So you log in, guys. The next place you go is you want to go to the agent resources area. You can get there through that little drop box, or you can go down here and click on this little button. It doesn't matter, but you go to the agent resources area, and then you're going to see hands in the air. I think it's a bunch of people at a fish concert right there is what that picture is, which is awesome. And you want to scroll down past new hires, which you probably have already been on this if you've been hired, right? Because there's a bunch of welcome stuff, conference call schedule, all that good stuff. phone list to call people when you get started, new hire paperwork, all that. New agent tools, success manual, which we should all have a copy of by now. Print it up if you don't. Sales Academy preparation, field training preparation. You got documents, forms, and scripts, which give all kinds of great stuff, memos and things that you can use in the field to let people know that you're coming back, et cetera, et cetera. Continual training. There's tons and tons of videos and audios on there to aid in your ability to sharpen your saw. And guys, you want to go to useful links, bottom right-hand corner, all agents, useful links, click on it. And then you'll come to some train tracks, right? It's like a crossroads in your career. And the very first one, top middle, you know why? Because it's that important, is creating your recruiting story. Click on that little button right there, creating your recruiting story. Oh, by the way, guys, there's also a bunch of other really cool things that you can do right there too, like order more business cards and all that kind of stuff like that. So, it's great to have. When you get to creating your recruiting story, you then scroll down and you know what you do? Create your recruiting story. You just follow the directions. You start in by typing your name first and last. Type in your email, because when you're done with this and you submit it, this goes to Nicole and she will email you a hard copy that you can save on your computer forever and ever and ever. Print up a paper copy so you can study it and rehearse it and practice it just like you did your sales talk when you started your career. But save a copy on there, because that piece of paper, you're going to lose it. I promise you, paper gets lost. So save it on your desktop or your computer so you can look at it over and over and over. And then you start writing who you are and what you used to do. And guys, you want to write everything in the first person, like you're having a conversation with another human, right? You want to write it out just like you're going to say it to people. So, hey, I'm Van Davenport. Hey, before I came to Family Heritage, I used to be a haberdasher. Yeah, I didn't know what that meant before I did it either, but I was in the men's clothing business. I sold suit, shirts, ties, real high-end custom stuff for individuals. Okay. The reason why I was looking for something new is because I was overworked and underpaid. I mean, I was working 65, 70 hours a week. I had to be in an office by 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, and I wasn't making a ton of money. I think I capped out my best year in 4 years at about 80 grand. Just not a ton of cash for the effort that I was putting in. Also, I got kind of frustrated because every single month I started back on zero and had to push the rock up the hill. I actually found Family Heritage because I was a friend of mine introduced me to a gentleman named Peter Foray, who was starting a sales organization with Family Heritage out of Nashville, Tennessee. Peter and I had kind of done the same summer sales internship, so we had a little something in common. So I was just willing to sit out and hear him out. What impressed me the most really was Peter himself as a human being. He was just an awesome person, which made me trust him more and want to be around him, because I don't know if you've ever had it before, but there was some backstabbing going on at my other business that I was in. And I didn't like the politics. I didn't like that you had to have someone die, quit, or be fired to move up the ladder. I really wanted an opportunity. And when he showed me the product, I was like, wow, that's amazing. My parents had a policy like this when my mom went through breast cancer, and it helped out a ton. Oh, and you're telling me they give you your money back? That's amazing. And then he showed me the compensation, and I couldn't believe that after a period of time, you could stop working and still have an incredible income. More on that later. But what it's done for me is, see, you guys don't say what it's doing for me, what it's doing for you. I mean, you're right. So far for me, it's been a life changer. We've been able to change, move from a townhouse in Alexandria, Virginia, to our single family home. Get a few rental properties along the way. Our kids are able to go to private school. And I mean, there's just a lot of things that it's done so far, but just the feeling of helping people feels incredible. Guys, I'm kind of spitballing right now because I'm making this part up as we go along, so don't take it all for gospel, but giving you examples of what you could be putting in there. But it needs to be authentic. It needs to be your story, because when it's your story, guys, you're going to remember it because it's yours, right? It's kind of like they say, if you always tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. Kind of the same idea. You just want to write your true, authentic story. and then rehearse it and practice it so it doesn't sound forced, so it sounds really natural, just like your cancer care presentation sounds today, right? And guys, the best part is this. I mean, we just got back 2 weeks ago. The company took an awesome full week trip down to Mexico, and we had 225 of the most amazing individuals you ever want to meet. And the great thing is I own my business. I get to determine when I'm going to work and when I'm off. I get to determine if I want to go take a week-long vacation. I don't have to ask my boss's permission. You know why? Because I'm my boss, and I've given myself permission. It's an incredible opportunity. It's incredible. And so let me ask you something. Does that sound like something that you'd like to gather some more information about? Great. Guys, I never asked, does that sound like something you're interested in? For the same reason that I don't ask a person in the approach if they're interested in buying my policy. They haven't seen it yet, right? I'm not trying to sell the career, right? I'm not trying to get them to come on board with my recruiting story. I'm just trying to get them to watch a video, right? At the end of the day, I just want them to watch a 46.5-minute video called the Career Spotlight, and that will do the heavy lifting for me. All I've got to do is lead them to water, and then the horse is going to drink or the horse isn't, right? As you guys have all heard that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. But you know what you can do? You can salt their oats. Okay? Salting their oats means you can help make them thirsty so that they want to drink, right? Guys, your recruiting story is salting the oats. This is making people go, man, that sounds cool. I can relate to this gal. Some of the things that she said that she was sick and tired of, I am too. I don't know if this is a good fit, but heck, sounds like it's worth 45 minutes of my life to find out. So, hey, does it sound like something you want to gather some more information on? Yes. Well, listen, can I make a recommendation? We've got a cool little video. It's called the Career Spotlight, which explains everything about what we do, what the product that we sell, how we market, how we're trained, how we're compensated, residual income, our culture, which is incredible. If I was to text that to you right now, would you watch it? Yes. Great. Let me ask you a question, Joe. How long do you think it'll take you to watch it if I give it to you today? I'll watch it tonight. Okay, cool. Let me write that down. The reason I asked that is because I've kind of been doing this a long time, and I've learned to pay a lot more attention to what people do than what they say. Okay. And I've just found out we don't tell people what to do because we're in a volunteer army, you know? So we just ask people. I ask people what they're going to do, and then I just pay attention. And if they follow through, that's a good sign. Okay. If they don't follow through, it's a sign, just not a real good one. You follow me? And guys, when you say that to people, that tells them that sends the message that you need to watch this by tonight or by whenever you told me, or I'm probably not going to be interested in talking with you anymore. Right? So guys, that's how you create your recruiting story. And I believe, yeah, this is a copy of the one that I kind of created back in the day to really explain. And I'll forward this on to you guys. But at the end of the day, it's writing it out. Okay. And guys, when you write it out the first time, you may go back and read it and go, ah, man, that's not, I'd kind of like to change that. If you feel that way, go back in and change it. Go back in and rewrite it. All you're going to do by rewriting it is reinforce the stuff that you want to keep in there and adjust what you want. Okay. Don't be afraid about going back and retyping this. For some of you guys, if you did this exercise 2 years ago and you haven't said it much at all, then that tells me that it's not a great story. You might want to sit down and rewrite it and include some cool stuff that's happened the last couple of years and really practice it and rehearse it. And managers and trainers out there, I want to encourage you guys to, as we say in leadership, inspect what you expect. Have those little conversations with your partners about writing this recruiting story, and then take some time at the Monday morning meetings, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and pair up and rehearse those recruiting stories, guys, because when you know your recruiting story as well as you know your cancer care presentation, and it won't be that hard to do because it's really just about 15, 20 sentences. and it's your authentic story. It's not someone else's words that was written years and years ago. It's your story. And remember, you don't have to remember what you said if it's the truth, right? So I would just challenge everybody with getting that down. Again, if you're writing it down feverishly on a piece of paper right now, when you get home this evening, follow these steps that we went through. And I'm going to email you out these steps. I took screenshots of each step along the way. I'm going to email that out to each of you so you have it, so you can do it. But I would challenge you to get that done in the next 24 hours. If you don't, guys, there is something called the law of good intentions. And oftentimes we'll mean to do something. And the more time that goes in between the idea and doing it, the less chance likely that you're actually going to do it. Okay. The law of diminishing intent. So guys, before we finish up, any questions, comments, any success stories outside of Josiah of using it? Or does anybody have any questions on how to get it out on paper?
Hey, Van, Brad here. If I could add something to this whole thing, we've got a lot of people who post that they get personal recruits on a daily basis, and they send these video links out, and then don't hear from the majority of them. Y'all, what has been working really well? Kyle and I, we've been doing a lot of recruiting lately. I hired 3 more studs yesterday. We've been doing tons of final interviews. Getting people to show up to actually watch this video. Kind of like Van said a few minutes ago, y'all, we don't ask people to buy the insurance and the approach because they haven't seen it yet. It's the same thing with recruiting video. Okay. If people don't watch the video, you will never hear back from them. So something that works really well just to get people to show up, and we have such a higher response, is by simply saying, hey, I'm going to send you the link to this video. It's a complete overview on the career and how everything works. Why we do what we do. And everything that's detailed about how this business works. And you can watch it anytime, today or tomorrow, but I do have to just schedule you for a time to watch it. So between, anytime today or tomorrow, what time would be best for you to watch that video where you could sit down for about 40 minutes and really dive into what this career is about? And y'all, when you schedule them an actual time and they commit to that, you will literally have 75% more people show up and watch those videos, and then you will actually get responses from them from those videos. If you don't schedule them a time, you're not going chances are you'll never hear from them again. So y'all just that one little piece, we've had such a higher response and candidates coming through by simply scheduling those times with them and making sure that, okay, so I'm going to schedule for this time. If anything changes, just let me know. But y'all, it's really holding people accountable to it. And once people see the video, just like when people actually see a demo, you'll have so many more people actually buying in, as they should. So, sorry, man, just that one little thing, just scheduling a time for them.
Yeah, don't you dare apologize for that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Scheduling that time is super key. Guys, also, if you find that you got 3, 4, 5 people in a row that aren't responding, aren't doing anything, as the saying goes, if what you're doing is not working, try anything different, right? Don't keep doing the same thing over and over expecting different results. That's the definition of insanity. But do what Brad mentioned, and heck, even bring in your trainer to talk to them. Bring in your agency owner to talk to them if they're really a stud and you want to get them on board. So guys, you're looking at your screen right now, and hopefully everybody recognizes this face. It's halfway covered, but this is Jacob Martin, and we met Jacob Martin 6 or so months ago up in Bedford, Virginia, where we were having a team dinner with all the Virginia agents. And this guy happened to be waiting on us. Sharp guy, good looking dude, attractor, all of the above. And tell you what, he overheard us talking about saying a few things. I think he heard us talking about the buffalo mentality versus the cow mentality running into the storm. And I think he overheard a couple of things and said, hey, any chance you guys are in the insurance business? He said, yeah, we sure are. What makes you ask? And this whole time, I think that Brian or someone has kind of set me up with this and they're just kind of goofing on me. But he goes, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I just got my insurance license on last Monday. And I was like, well, just for the fun of it, or were you interviewing with a company that you plan on going to work with? And he said, well, I've been interviewing with Aflac. And the whole table almost at one time went, almost like it was kind of, comedy. And it led to a conversation. And he said, you guys look like you're having a lot of fun. And we were like, we're the most fun people we know. We're incredible. Yeah, you should talk to us. So got his number, followed up with him. As the saying goes, guys, the fortune is in the follow-up. And anybody that was sitting at that table can attest that they heard a recruiting story. They heard what we do, why we do it. And we got the phone number and did some diligent follow-up. And guess what? Jacob's on board with us. Jacob's greened out a few times. Jacob is qualified for the 101, and he's an awesome team member helping us grow and build up in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So guys, I'm telling you, this stuff works when we use it. And so, Mari, did you have a question? It looked like you virtually raised your hand. Did you want to ask something real quick?
Yeah, I did just have like a quick question. So kind of like about half of my clients so far have been Hispanics, and I don't know, at some point you mentioned something and it kind of made me think about that. Do we by any chance, like at all, maybe not North Carolina, but in general, have testimonials in Spanish? Just because it is a lot, like I can translate the presentation pretty decently now. Just translating actual testimonials kind of becomes a little harder when you're trying to express people's emotions in words.
Sure. I do not know the answer to that, but my guess is with as many Hispanic people that only speak Spanish in our company in Florida and Texas, my guess is they've sold to a bunch of people that only speak Spanish, and those people have probably had some claims, and some of those people have probably done testimonials. So my guess is yes. I think we just need to call home office and check up on that. So great question, but let's follow up on that and call home office and see if we can get a hold of some of those. That's great.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Van, I just wanted to chime in really fast on when you're talking to somebody just about the opportunity. Make sure you're asking questions to them to find out, what makes them tick. Because, yeah, we travel a lot, we make a lot of money, but some people could care less about that stuff. Some people care about, not missing a kid's sporting event because they're not, they can't leave work early or whatever. Finding out what's important to the individual and catering your response to that is huge.
Absolutely. Guys, we do that when we sell insurance, right? We ask questions to figure out what people's hot buttons are. Guys, recruiting is selling. It's just instead of selling a policy and security, you're selling a career, a lifestyle, an opportunity. Guys, it's all air, right? It's all thoughts, okay? You're really good at selling a non-tangible product already. Well, try selling this non-tangible product because, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll end up on this note too, is guys, selling insurance, that'll put money in your checking account that you can spend today. Building a team, an agency, that'll put money in your savings account and your retirement accounts, and that'll take care of you for the rest of your life and your kids. And for some of you, even your kids' kids. Okay, guys, thank you so much for taking the time out to be on here today. Sorry, we went a little bit long. Hopefully you gathered some good information. I would encourage you, don't stop what you're doing right now and run out to go sell a policy right now. Finish what you're doing, finish writing out your recruiting story. And when you hit submit, again, Nicole will email you a copy of this. If you wrote it down on paper today, when you get home this evening, take the time to type it out and submit it, and it'll be saved forever. And you can practice it, you can refine it, you can work on it, and you too can become a great recruiter. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great day. And I appreciate each and every one of you. We've been so very blessed. Let's go out and be a blessing for some other people today. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.